This severe weather pattern is honestly getting extremely concerning. Here today we have our outlooks being mainly in the Midwest, Indiana, Illinois, and Missouri being our main, especially over here. Well, I've been looking at this area for a long time. This area is honestly showing very concerning signs of significant severe weather on Wednesday. So all of the Kansas City metro down towards Springfield, St. Louis, and Columbia would not be concerned if they would extend the enhanced and even make a moderate for this area. So they should extend the enhanced and make a moderate severe weather for this area over here. But when we go to radar right now, it's not looking too concerning out there. We don't have that much in these areas. But if we look over here, we do have a few severe thunderstorms in this area. Being mainly a wind threat, not really any hail at all. Maybe some hail over here with this storm near Pierpoint and down south near Lilly, Butler, Bradley. Maybe even down here towards Wessington. So a little bit of hail, not much, because today's marginal risk mainly shows the northern plains and the southern deserts, I guess, plateaus, let's say. But the northern plains and down south here towards the southern plains in Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, or Colorado, and New Mexico. And then this one up here showing signs in North and South Dakota and in Minnesota, with the only tornado threat being down here in New Mexico, maybe a little bit, not even, maybe a little bit of Colorado. Right there, that's it of Colorado. The wind threat is mainly going to be in these two areas, basically the same as the category 1. But the wind down here and up here, and then the hail, only hail sign is showing down here. I do think we have a little bit of hail showing in some of these storms up here. If we look in tomorrow, we have some big areas of severe weather. I wouldn't say much severe, but we have big marginal risk. So this first one stretching all the way out from Montana into Iowa, and this other one stretching all the way from Michigan, the Ohio Valley areas in Wisconsin, all the way back down towards Oklahoma and Kansas. And then, of course, we have this big convective risk. We actually do have a little bit of marginal that was just updated for the Houston and New Orleans area, mainly for the big risk of a tropical storm developing in those areas. If we do look at the hurricane tropical weather outlook, we do have a big area of Atlantic disturbance with a 50% medium chance of a tropical storm developing in 7 days, and then a 40% medium chance of it developing in 2 days. So it could develop in 3 or 4 days, would be my guess over here near Houston. And my guess is it would either, when it forms, it wouldn't get very strong and go straight into New Orleans, creating some big tornado signs and stuff, so we could get more outlooks further into next week even. And then my guess is personally, I think that if there was going to be tropical form to develop, it would be fairly weak, and if it were to go this way, it will get extremely strong, maybe even showing hurricane level forces. And if it were to go to Florida, we would see it would form over here, and it'll go like this, straight up into the Florida panhandle, into Georgia, creating big signs for tornadoes over in this area, maybe even receiving a moderate risk if it does become strong, maybe even our first high risk of 2026. But very low signs that it's going to go any way south at all, towards Cuba, Mexico, or even the more Mexico. It's either going to go this way or this way. So let me watching that. It's going to form, go this way or this way. It would be, personally. So we've been looking at that. So for tomorrow, again, we do have the marginal risk. If we do look at tornadoes, it's mainly going to be in the Indiana, Ohio Valley, Illinois, Chicago, and then Michigan. And then the wind is mainly the same outlooks as the categorical, with the wind. And the hail is going to be mainly down south and north, cutting off Missouri and some of Illinois. Again, some big hail threats up here in the northern plains. The main risk we're looking at is going to be on Wednesday. I've already said this, big signs. This could be the worst storm of 2026 so far. They have not released yet the tornado percentages, the tornado outlooks, the wind outlooks, or the hail outlooks like we have for today and tomorrow. We do have the probabilistic mainly showing over, most of it's going to be over the Indiana, Illinois, and maybe parts of the northeastern Missouri. Main sign of tornado, I feel like, will be over here. This is going to be big, mainly wind threat over here. Big wind threats reaching 100-mile-an-hour winds, and some large softball-sized hail is possible. And then coming into Thursday, we don't have much, but we do have a severe outlook already for the New York, part of the Ohio Valley, West Virginia, Kentucky, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and parts of New York and New York City. Even getting parts of Connecticut in there. And I would not be surprised if they do end up updating this for a higher chance and moving the severe outlook all the way up here, and then adding a big risk for a weather throughout the Pittsburgh area, and maybe even another severe before that we get to there. But there will be possibly an enhanced risk for this day. Wednesday and Thursday is looking very promising, mainly Wednesday though. There is a marginal risk again down here in New Orleans like there is tomorrow. Marginal risk in the Louisiana, Mississippi, and parts of Texas. This is mainly just, they're only doing this mainly because of the signs of tropical storm development. Down here is just showing very, very big signs of severe weather being in place if this does go this way. I'm honestly surprised, since we do have the slight risk, or the convective risk, general risk in this area. I would not be surprised if they do update to a marginal risk for these areas in here in Florida, just because of this tropical storm area shifting. But we're mainly going to be looking at this area and this area up here, mainly the enhanced risk. Would not be surprised if we do get a moderate risk for this area. If we go into Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's not looking too severe. Maybe Friday and Saturday. Sunday and Monday are looking very low, giving off really low signs, but we don't yet have a risk or a outlook for there. If we go to the mesoscale, we do have two mesoscale discussions going on here in Texas and New Mexico, and then one up here in the northern plains, Minnesota, and North and South Dakota. These are mainly going to be for tornado watches in place. 20% chance of a tornado watch up there, and a 20% chance of a tornado watch up there, showing signs of EF1 tornadoes 90-mile-an-hour plus for these areas. So it's a low chance that we do get a tornado watch for these areas, but the main concern will be down here. I would not be surprised if we do get a tornado watch for this area. Up here, not very promising. This is where most of the storms are right now, but into the later evening hours, we will get possibly stuff down here. Go back to radar. We do have some thunderstorm warning, or some big special weather statements in this area. Mainly the high wind threat. We actually do have some hail cores down here in Kingsland, up in northern Florida and southern Georgia. Oh my gosh, my mouse is like broken. And if we go over here, we do have some severe thunderstorm warnings for this area with some big hail cores in these. These are going to be for 1-inch sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. If we go back up here, we now only have one severe thunderstorm warning, mainly for a big wind threat as it surges towards Huron, and Wessington Springs. If we do go to satellite image, we did have some big storms on the Thursday, and yesterday. Saturday. No, today's Monday. Saturday, we did have some crazy big storms pop up in the Kansas City metro with 2 confirmed tornadoes from that night storms. Oh, look at this. This is the satellite from last night all the way up into. Satellite is one of the coolest things, and I wish I could go to. Anyway, there were 2 confirmed tornadoes from the Saturday night storms up here in the northern Kansas City metro area. With main tornado, there was one tornado that was formed near Liberty and went about over here, and one that formed near here and made it up towards Lexington almost in this area. So this one here tracked about 9 miles, forming in northern Kansas City all the way up over here, and this one tracked about 3 miles from Liberty to far west Richmond. Both getting EF0 ratings, being very weak, and this one down here near North Kansas City towards Missouri City was on the ground for approximately 16 minutes, and this one up here was on the ground for approximately 5 to 6 minutes. So those are that 2 tornadoes. And on Thursday nights, we had some insane. We had some insane weather with some wedge tornadoes in Indiana and Illinois. We do have a storm chaser, Ryan Scholl, heading out. I think he's just stationed in the enhanced risk for Wednesday. He's out there early. We have a rainy day weather. Is that a storm chaser? Huh. Don't know what that is. Very weird. But we did have some storms going through Streator, Illinois. Nope. Up here. This is where a tornado causing EF3 plus damage was recorded that went straight through Illinois, leveling homes. It did end up 1 to 2 days later confirming. The National Weather Service did confirm EF3 damage. And this tornado was rated EF3, and it was a wedge tornado on the ground for approximately 20 to 30 minutes with a path of about 15 to 16 miles of damage. Mainly in Streator, a lot of it was all oh my gosh, I'm not thinking today. Anyway, so that is all I have for you today. I'm pretty sure we were just wanting to mainly talk about the enhanced risk for Wednesday. Wednesday is looking very promising. I will probably have another video or maybe even post out there on my Instagram for when they do put out the tornado, wind, and hail risk. So in the meantime, stay tuned. I will link my Instagram and my Twitch and other information so you can stay tuned. So if we do go live for Wednesday, maybe even today or tomorrow, well, we do have marginal risk, so I'm not very concerned about today or tomorrow. But Wednesday, it's very likely we have a live, so I will post anything on my Instagram, YouTube mainly for videos. I will post clips from lives and stuff. But everyone, have a way to receive alerts. I will link everything in the description, and stay tuned.